What's happening, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. So it's starting to look like the Iranian protest, which been going on since December, is starting to die down. And this is really an unfortunate set of events. So those that's been here, I've been covering this story as much as we can get because Iran was under such tight information controls. But what appeared to look like the Iranian people were going to overthrow the repression that they have suffered for the last 47 years, it looks like it's going down. And how did it happen? Well, the lights got turned off, so to speak. Iran shut off all outside communication, and a protest that looked like it was going to revolutionize the country, and many people believe led by monarchists that are loyal to the Shah and his son, have started to subside. And what I believe is that they shut off a lot of outside communication. One of the major being Starlink, which I find suspicious in itself. I don't think Elon Musk is putting up a satellite communication system that can be easily shut down, at least not by Iran. Elon Musk is a very brilliant person, and I know he's not going through all this effort to get shot down by a nation of Iran's stature at this level. Maybe a more powerful and developing nation, possibly. But I know Elon Musk has Starlink for very influential reasons. And if a country can just simply shut it down, I think that's a little bit convenient for them. Nevertheless, not to get off on a tangent, because what really is important is what happened when they did shut down communication. So when communication was up and Starlink was operating and people inside of Iran was getting messages out, there were scenes of protests, of people being defiant, inspirational photos, and them challenging them. They're telling the world this is what we want. They're ready to progress and move forward and develop and not be stuck in some archaic, theocratic system. And once that was shut down, nobody knows what happened, but we can all assume we know what happened. I believe Iran probably came through with some very draconian measures. Obviously, I think there were multiple jailings, and I think a lot of people probably got killed in these protests. And now that they're toning down, a lot of Iranian leadership is coming out and saying that they're going to bring the internet back on. And I'm starting to see a little bit more of the Islamist post online, because that seems to be the fundamental separation in the country right now. Those, of course, loyal to the theocracy, as opposed to those that are looking to move the nation forward. So, what really is unfortunate about this is you saw that no one came to the aid of the Iranian people. And this is something that I continuously harp on about. Nobody has proved me wrong yet. The map says it. The articles don't say it, but the map says it. Iran has to be a plant from the outside. The theocrats or the clerics say that the revolution to overthrow them is Israeli or Western funded. I think the exact opposite. I can cite precedent by precedent. The biggest beneficiaries of a theocratic and archaic Iran is the West, without a doubt. None of the Iranian people benefit from having a society where the currency isn't reliable. They're treated like pariahs on the world stage. They do everything on a shoestring budget, and they're subsidized by the West. Remember, it was Barack Obama that airlifted the money to them just to keep the regime going. You see all these arguments, you see the snipes coming out from the clerics or Trump or America to Iran, but nobody ever busts a grape. Nobody ever busts a grape. And the only people that ever get killed in Iran or assassinated in Iran are people that are good at their jobs. The generals that are winning on the battlefield, or the scientists that are developing nuclear ability. If Iranian government, despite its words, if they're not a plant, I don't know what a plant is. You saw that these people were killing people in the streets, and not one Western government lifted a finger to help those people who were screaming for freedom and the right to determine their own future. And no matter how crazy I think it is that this is the situation, the math continuously point to the same answer. this Iranian government is not a representation of the people. It is an imperial plant, it seems, to suppress and repress the people of Iran. And what they have shown, though, is that they are resilient. And every couple of years, they come out with a stronger and stronger revolution. Right now, but the people of Iran suffer from, they don't have one, they're not going to get any foreign support. That's been proven over and over again. So then you have to worry about domestic leadership. And there hasn't been anyone able to really solidify that energy on the ground yet. And of course, one day, as evolution demands, there's going to be a person that believes in the 5,000 years of Iran that's going to be able to stand up and have the charisma and the negotiating skills to get his people in a stronger position so that it's not just protests on the streets, but it's a lot more organized and they're a lot more connected and able to really garner allies within the country. But if this had been any other country in the Middle East, you best believe it would have been 50 militias well armed from weapons from all over, from Russia, China, and especially the West. So the fact that nobody interfered and they let this government persecute these people and execute them, the Iranian government has already came out and said they're going to start the summary executions of who they believe were leaders of the protest. And this is all about fear and inspiring fear amongst their populace. As I said, this is not the government of the Iranian people. I find it hard to believe that the facts say different. So continue to watch, but I'm not seeing anything that proved me wrong to this point. Nobody has benefited more from these clerics being in charge of Iran than the Western countries that don't have to compete with Iran, who Iran doesn't challenge their authority or their hegemon within their regions and fears. And this is really going to be interesting because I think the Iranian people, they came so close this time that I think it's going to be hard to keep them from the finish line one way or another. But I love to hear your thoughts. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, take care. Bantu up.